Jarsz. Greetings and salutations. Hugh Jarsz. This is Phuket Word. This is Phuket Word, aka Gigantor. Rambling rubbish. Hugh Jarsz. Deep debunk. Hugh Jarsz. Deep debunk.
Flat earther.
Phuket Word, rubbish.
Flat earther.
Rubbish. Hugh Jarsz. Hugh Jarsz. Debunk. Yeah. This devil. Yeah. This devil.
Flat earther. Flat earther.
Rambling rubbish. Hugh Jarsz. Hugh Jarsz. Debunk. On with the stupid. On with the stupid. On with the stupid. Phuket Word. Phuket Word. On with the stupid. Yeah. This guy. Hugh Jarsz. Hugh Jarsz. Many thanks.
We're live.
Yes, on with the stupid indeed. Greetings and salutations, everyone. This is Hugh Jarsz. And here I am on my very first real live stream. It's, we are here in the Corgi Dome. And as you can see, we're surrounded by some of the Corgis. And I'm sitting there on my throne. It's such a wonderful place to be. So tonight we're going to have a look at some of the stupid and a few other things as well. It's going to be a little bit of fun. I'm joined by some guests, but I want to first recognise Arctic Reflections for his little song that he did about me, which you've just seen. And I love that. I love the way it goes. I dance along to it all the time, and I hope you do too. So if you haven't subscribed to Arctic Reflections yet, what's wrong with you? Go over there and subscribe to him right now. I'll put a link in the chat a little bit later on. But the first person I want to acknowledge that we have here is Cypher Zero, my mate on the NASA Blackside Area 69 live stream.
Hello. What's happening?
All right, well, we're doing a live stream, mate. That's what's happening, and you're running it.
Oh, yeah, I am too.
Yeah, so thanks for that.
Yes, well, I had to, obviously, I found the plug in the ceiling, because, usually I'm plugged into the Blacksite's computer. So I had to, luckily you had an installed plug up here. So I was like, oh, hang on, it's on the roof. So I'm hanging from the roof, because, I had to. But luckily I have a gravity-defying orb in my armor here that will let me, flip upside down. So it's all good.
All right. You fancy yourself as Tom Cruise, do you?
A little bit.
Yeah, okay.
Although, taller.
Long as it's a little bit, because, you don't want to be a lot like Tom Cruise. Well, maybe the money-wise, I don't know. But he gives all the way to Scientology anyway, so, yeah, you don't want that. I shouldn't have said that, should I? All right, so speaking of Arctic Reflections, we actually have Arctic Reflections joining us. Hello, Arctic. How are you today?
I'm great. The cartoon from the Arctic.
Yes. Yes, you have a sort of two-dimensional feel to you, don't you?
Yeah. Every time.
And you're working hard where you are right now? You're in Lofoten? Is that the way you pronounce it?
No, at the moment I'm in Sweden.
Oh, okay. I've been watching Itchy Boots, which is another channel where Dutch lady called Norley rides her bike all over the place. And she's currently going through Norway, and she just went to Lofoten in the last couple of days. And the video came out this morning. And it looks like a pretty awesome place. That's where you live in the summertime, isn't it? Or is it the winter?
Wintertime.
Wintertime, yeah.
I live there from September to April, and I live in Sweden in the summertime.
Right. So it's, but you're not there at the moment because of COVID, I presume?
Yeah, if I go to my house there, I have to be in quarantine for 10 days.
Yep.
And I have some work to do in Sweden, so I stay here.
So what sort of work do you do?
Photograph and filmmaking, and in wintertime in Lofoten I have workshops, and all of my workshops are cancelled due to the pandemic. So therefore I'm doing film work to television companies and photos for other companies.
And I believe when the workshops start up again, you're going to be having as your student one of the NASA Black Site's best agent, Ranty.
Oh, yeah, Employee of the Month, yes.
If he comes.
We all have high hopes for that, actually, yes. I mean, hopefully it will help him get out of the delusion of flat Earth. Same as Jose did with the P900 that he was sent.
Yeah, and he gets $750 from Wolfie if he arrives.
Well, that went to fight the flat Earth, didn't it? Because he didn't do it by the required date.
He did. He did accept in time. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, and then he plans to go to Australia for 1.5 year, and Wolfie will pay for the mobile home.
Well, I told him I'd do the same thing for him, but so he doesn't have to bother coming out here. But I think he just wants someone to pay for his holiday, don't you think?
I still have a standing offer to flat earthers to come and stay at my place for a week and see the sunrises from here. So, that can still stand. That can be chucked in there as well, I think.
You really want to live with a flat earther?
Well, for a week. A week. I mean, it's probably going to be the longest week of my bloody life, but...
It would be, yeah. You got a basement you can lock them in, or...?
No, unfortunately not. That's...
okay.
Well, I mean, I could always have one built.
What, a cell outside or something, yeah. With a tray underneath so you can slide.
Yes, that's it. Yeah, that's it.
Why would you want to treat a flat earther like that? That makes no sense.
Well, I mean, a lot of the time people offer to do these sort of things for flat earthers and they just flat out refuse, which is, it's kind of weird. Like, you'd think that they would take the opportunity to prove flat earth, and they don't.
It's because they know it's not true, really, most of them. And they just don't want to be seen to disprove it, really. They'd much rather be part of the group, you might say. Anyway.
Yeah, they feel a sense of community, yeah.
Yeah, so Arctic makes awesome videos. I've watched pretty much every one. He's got one premiering in 20 minutes. But I suggest if you're watching the stream, you go and see that after the stream's finished. But if you
we can premiere it on it as well.
Say that again?
We can premiere it on here as well if you really want.
How long is it?
How long is it? Yeah.
8. Wait a moment. I will check.
But I suspect Arctic would prefer the views on his channel.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, wow, we got 36 watching. Awesome. I only expected 30, so I've beaten my goal. Wow. Thanks, everyone. All right, well, while Arctic's checking that, I'll introduce our other guest, someone you might not have heard of before. He pops up in chats quite often, but I don't believe he's been on a live stream before. He goes by the channel name of My Mum Bakes Cakes, but we're going to refer to him as Tom. Welcome, Tom.
G'day, Philly Aussies and Philly Globetards. My name's Tom from down under, and we live next to the Antarctic. So, yes, g'day, everybody.
Hello, hello.
So what's your channel about, Tom?
Well, I started my channel out because my mum actually does bake cakes, and I wanted to start it out as a cooking type of channel, but then I came across cool, hard logics videos and thinking, I haven't looked back since. It's like, are these guys seriously think the Earth is flat in 2020? Can you be serious?
Yes, everyone I've mentioned that I do these sort of debunk videos about flat earthers, they look at me as saying, people still believe the Earth is flat?
Exactly right.
I nearly drove off the road when I found out. I was talking to a guy I used to work with. We were on our way to another job. We were talking about something, and he said, "Oh, this is stupider than those people that think the Earth is flat." And I nearly drove off the road. I was that shocked.
Yeah, they're basically reality deniers. That's they're conspiracy nuts and reality deniers. I guess you have to be a reality denier to be a conspiracy nut.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I've yet to see a flat Earth bring any kind of evidence, but there we go.
Well, they bring what they think is evidence, but
Word
you know,
salad.
well, it never stands up to scrutiny. It's the problem. So
Never does.
yeah, but yet they're still right. You know, as far as they're concerned.
Mm.
You said you were near the Antarctica, so I believe you're in South Australia. Whereabouts in South Australia generally? What's the town?
I'm not going to say, but I live in South Australia, in a city, the main city, but you can guess from there what it is.
Well, yeah, no, I was just wondering if you're on the coast or something, you could sort of look out towards.
Yeah, I can. I do live 5 minutes from the beach. I see the sunset and sunrise when it's nice down here, and that proves to me that we do live on a globe because the sun moves and sets in different locations. My brother's been actually to the Antarctic and lived there for a while, so I know it exists.
It didn't live so much as shiver, I guess.
Yeah.
PhD Tony says that they always send the PhD students down to Antarctica because it's so bloody cold. They don't want to go, so they send the students instead. Yeah, so you can go down the beach and look out towards to the ice wall.
Ice wall.
Yeah.
I remember seeing Wolfie and Critical Think and also Greatest Sapien do that flight from that flight across Antarctica, and that was absolutely brilliant. So, yeah. Why do people believe in the flat Earth? I've got no idea.
Well, you know, there's so much evidence that it's spherical. It just seems ridiculous that they hold on to it. But I think what we said earlier, they want to be part of that group, so they, you know, play the game, I guess you say. But we'll see some examples of that later on, actually, when we get to one of the videos we're going to have a look at. Anyway, so that's who we've got on. So thank you all for being a part of this live stream. I'm really pleased to have you here. The first thing we want to have a chat, if you can pull that up on screen, Cypher. Although that looks a bit small. Can you make it full screen?
Yep, give me 1 second. I've just got... Oh, hang on. I've pressed the wrong button here.
It's a kind of a news item, I guess. One of the... And Eileen Dover tipped me off onto this. One of the best meteor showers of the year on right now, actually. And apparently it was... this morning was the best time. But tomorrow morning is going to be very good as well. So if you want to get up about an hour before sunrise... here in Brisbane, it's sunrise is at 5 o'clock, so you'll have to look up wherever sunrise is in your location, in Australia at least, and you can get up and see a meteor shower, see meteors everywhere. I'm going to set up the camera and see if I can get some trails. So that'll be interesting. I haven't seen a meteor shower for a while. I've seen a few. I remember once we went up, we used to go fishing up Cape York Peninsula, and the one in August, I forget the name of it. I don't know if it's the Leonids. I'm not quite sure. But we slept under the stars because it was so freaking hot, even though it was August. And most of us didn't get much sleep because we were just sort of looking up at the sky, and it was like fireworks, all different colours. And it was quite literally a shower. Most meteor showers are like one meteor every 5 minutes.
Yep.
But this was like one every 5 seconds. It was quite amazing.
Yeah, I will be watching that for sure. In between 3 and 5 you said?
Yeah, well, I'm going to get up at 3:30 tomorrow morning, but I'm on Eastern Australian Standard Time. You're on Daylight Saving Time.
Yep.
So,
but I don't sleep, so...
sunrise is.
Yes, I find sleep boring.
Well, yes.
Everyone knows this.
I imagine Arctic gets to see the Aurora borealis as well. So, it'd be interesting for him. But I guess he's got so much work on at the moment, he wouldn't get to see it.
I see it often.
Yeah. Will you get to see the Orionids meteor shower tomorrow morning? Or you don't get up early?
Talking to me?
Yes.
Now I'm quite far south in Sweden, so I don't have the Aurora so much here. And at the moment, it's cloudy and raining.
Oh, okay. So you probably won't get to see him. That's a shame. All right.
Hugh, you remember there was a meteorite over Australia a few years back that was quite seen by quite a few. Remember that one at all?
I remember a few meteorites that they often hit the news when they're big ones. Well, meteors, we should say. A meteorite is one that hits the ground.
Right. Sorry. Meteor.
Yeah, and they often report a green flash they see go across the sky, and often it's filmed. The best one was that one in Russia a few years ago, which made it look like daylight, which was amazing.
Well, I just posted the link for that article in the chat there too, Hugh, if anyone wants to have a look at it.
Okay, cool. If you got time, Cypher, can you post a link to Arctic's channel?
Yep.
And
Sure
Tom's
can.
channel as well, so that people can go and subscribe and that kind of thing.
Not a problem.
All right, so I guess no one else has seen too many meteor showers, but that's something worth checking out.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah,
That'd be great.
Nature's a wonderful thing. It's amazing to watch what nature can do.
I wonder if Daniel Pratt can take a meteor shower.
Well, he needs any sort of shower, doesn't he? All right, so now today, NASA released a news article, if we move to that, Cypher, and they're saying that they've made an exciting new discovery about the moon, but they're not telling us what it is until Monday. It'll be Tuesday, 2 a.m. Australian time.
Yeah, they're trying to come up with a story. You watch.
Yeah. So I'm wondering what it is. Apparently they've got a satellite going around the moon and it would have detected something, I presume, and I'm guessing it's water. Because if you're going to have a moon base, you need a supply of water. You can recycle, but that'll only take you so far.
That would be exciting.
You need water to replenish that, not just for drinking, but for creating fuel and oxygen as well, because water is, H2O. So you need the O bit, and the hydrogen you can use for fuel to get things off the moon back to Earth. Yep. So yeah, it's that's my guess, but people have many speculations. What do you guys think it might be?
Well, I think it's what Mr. Sensible and Wallace and Gromit think. It's made out of cheese.
Yep. Well, that's provable, of course. Oh, okay. I was hoping you'd run with it, but anyway.
Sorry.
You raised
that was
the point.
Joke, so there we go.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. Does that mean the moon has lots of mice? I mean, that's what all those space mice on the rockets are, I guess.
Yeah, and what is it again? Do you remember the argument that they said the moon creates its own light? I mean, how does that happen when you've got half a moon and quarter of a moon? It doesn't work.
Yeah, but that's what idiots say, remember?
Yeah, of course. Sorry.
It's not supposed to work.
I'm talking to intelligent people. I do apologize.
That's right, yeah.
Yes. But yeah, and craters, I mean, you can't have craters if it's emitting, craters with shadows, that is. If it's emitting its own light, you can't do that. It doesn't work. So, yeah, anyway. Arctic, did you see how long your video was?
10 minutes.
All right, so if you don't mind, we can simulcast it on here as well. Or would you prefer
no problem for me.
Oh my goodness,
no.
We got 44 people viewing here.
Yeah, that's we've had about the peak for your very first one, mate. You're doing well with this.
Yeah, well, the black site usually gets about 30.
Yeah, so we're happy when we get this number.
Yeah, I'm all you guys are awesome. Everyone watching right now, you are an awesome person. So thank you for watching. Have I crawled up their bums enough?
I think so.
There's a little video on that about the spacesuits they've designed for walking on the moon when they get back to the moon. You want to play that? That's worth a look.
Yep.
It's from Channel 9. Go to Channel 9 if you want.
Are they going to play the police song, Walking on the Moon?
Oh, I hope not.
Not in this video, but they might when they go to the moon.
All right, let's have a look. Oh, what happened there?
If you plan on going to the moon or Mars, I mean, don't we all, then no doubt you need to be wearing the right gear. Well, check it out. NASA has revealed 2 new high-tech space suits for the next interplanetary astronauts. They could be heading there as soon as 2024. It's quite the backpack.
They don't look very comfortable, do they?
It's not very figure-hugging.
Very unflattering, in fact.
Let's get to some entertainment news
Stoked
now.
her.
Short and sweet.
Yes. The people seem to forget that the moon has a 6 of the Earth's gravity, so it might look awkward here on Earth, but on the moon it's going to be fine.
Yeah.
Be lots of easy to get around and that kind of thing.
No one wants to spring a leak, especially not those people who are living on the International Space Station. Rob, how serious is this?
Autoplay.
Yeah, good morning, Sylvia. Well, it could have been a very serious problem, you're right, but they got into...
Ha! Killed it. All right, sorry about that.
Yep,
Yeah, you need to make that full screen when you do it next time.
It was. Oh, it wasn't. No, sorry. Yeah, yeah, sorry. I didn't either.
Did you hear how they found the leak? I saw it on Wally's video earlier. The leak in the ISS, that is.
No, I missed that. No, I haven't seen it yet.
They opened a bag of tea, right? A tea bag.
Yeah.
And let the leaves float around, and then closed the door, went out and closed the door, and all the leaves got sucked over to where the leak was so they could find it and just put a bit of tape over it.
Ah.
And a bit of tape has all the structural integrity you need to seal
yeah,
it up.
it does, yeah. No, that's interesting. Good way of doing it. Smart.
Yeah, it's really cheap too, isn't it?
Yep.
They couldn't find it in the first module, so they figured out it wasn't in that one, so they had to move everything over to the other module, and then they just let the tea leaves go, and out they found the little hole and just taped it up. There we go.
Yeah, it's a problem you got to solve in an environment that we're not used to, which is zero gravity, basically. And you can do these sorts of things to that. You can't find a leak like that in a water tank here on Earth, of course. And it's sort of interesting that you're solving a problem in a situation that most of us don't encounter. And I think that's where flirts get most of the problems. They keep thinking of things in terms of what they experience rather than what would be the situation in that different situation.
Not just that, but they also watch a lot of movies, I think.
Yes. Well, especially Mark Sargent. He admits it.
Well, yeah.
They live in that little fantasy world, I think. And speaking of movies and things like that, well, it's television, I guess. Has anyone seen Star Trek Discovery?
No, please no. Don't torture me.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yes, well, we don't want to show any video of this, of course, because they'll
no.
copyright strike us to buggery.
Yeah.
But, yes.
We can
Discovery...
trash talk it, though.
We can what, sorry?
We can trash talk the heck out of it.
Oh, well, that's the plan, because it's god-awful. It's just appalling. It's where political correctness becomes the story rather than the actual story.
Which has been...
Yeah, I was going to mention that.
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys, but there seems to be like a rash of political correctness on TV. That's I don't mind people being of different genders and whatnot, but please, they have to throw it in their face.
It's not just TV. It's all media nowadays. Comics, movies, video games. All of it has this political correctness. And here's the thing: I get politics are important and these issues are important, but I don't want to see it in my video games or my Star Wars movies.
Yeah, they don't get that entertainment is different from preaching.
Exactly, and you could quite easily include a lot of the subjects in there better than they have been. The way I see it, it's been forced upon people rather than letting it be a natural thing.
Yeah,
it's just as bad as Doctor Who.
Yeah,
with a girl there. Oh, there.
Well, I don't mind her being a girl. What I mind is that the writing is so awful that you just can't watch it.
God awful. It's god awful.
It's god awful. Yes.
That was basically just retconning the entire history of Doctor Who.
Yeah, they said the first Doctor was a black woman. Now, I mean, for God's sake, why did you have to do that? Why did you have to wipe out the history of Doctor Who into something that suits the political correctness of today? It just seems so unnecessary.
The shrug will never end on that one.
But, having said that, all for diversity, all for representation and that kind of thing. I was watching this, what was it called? It's it's something about, Henry VIII? No, earlier than Henry VIII. It's on Netflix. I can't remember it right now. Oh, the Templars. It's about the Templars. But they had, the king was talking to his lords, the King of England talking to his lords, and 3 of them were black in medieval England. Do you really think that was the reality?
No.
And it sticks out like a sore thumb.
Absolutely not. Yeah.
And that's the problem with it. Again, no problem with diversity, no problem with having representation of the various types of humans we are. But when you're actually changing history so that people who are younger and don't know history yet, they'll start to think that that was the real history, but it wasn't. And that just seems wrong.
I actually read something recently about people doing this and changing history and how it's not good for, you know, future generations. Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
what
But
can
with
you
Star
do?
Trek Discovery, at the end of season 2, for some reason, they had to send Discovery 1,000 years into the future, the ship Discovery. And all the crew said, yep, we're going to help Michael Burnham do this. And it's the most ridiculous thing. She had to fly ahead in this spacesuit with wings, which was also a time machine, and create an opening in time and space so that Discovery can fly through into 1,000 years in the future.
God.
And the idea is because the Discovery had in its databanks this information that the world wasn't ready for yet, and all permutations that they could think of would destroy the entire universe. So, yes, the stakes were high, apparently. But Michael Burnham, the main character, flew ahead. And so in season 3, we start with her coming out of the wormhole, and they're in the vastness of space, and she crashes into another ship.
Of course she does.
I mean, that's where you start. The most ridiculous thing possible. You're in the vastness of space, and you just suddenly crash into another ship. And of course, the guy who was flying that ship becomes a love interest later on, I think. But at least it was heading that way, it seemed. But the first episode of the 3rd season of a show called Star Trek Discovery did not have the Discovery in it, and had none of the crew in it except Michael Burnham. And in fact, there were no white faces in the episode whatsoever. Now, I'm not necessarily think that's a problem, but again, it's trying too hard.
Yeah. I mean, that almost sounds as ridiculous as something like a time machine made out of a foot spa or something like that.
Oh, no, we got plenty of those on the black side, don't we?
Well, apparently we're working on one now. We should do a time travel episode over there. It'd be interesting to look at.
Oh, aren't we doing that in 3 weeks or 3 weeks ago?
Have we? I can't tell.
Everything's
getting weird.
Yet to do it. Yet to do it in the past.
Yeah, weirder, I should say, actually.
Well, we're always weird on the black side, so. And we're weird here in the Corgi Dome too, I guess.
Yep, the Corgi Dome. We've dubbed it.
Yes. Yeah, I actually had another. I was going to call it the jar. Like Saddam Hussein had his little spider hole.
Yeah. We had.
He was the president of Iraq, so I was going to call my little place the Jar's hole, but I thought
we were going to stick it in something like a bat cave, just a dank cave with stalagmites hanging all over the place. But no.
Right. I keep running into them.
This is nicer.
Well, it certainly looks posh, I'll put it that way. Rather Persian, I think. Yes. So, Arctic's premiere will be on, well, I guess it'll be 2 minutes through the music, the music, I should say. So if we can cut over in, 3 minutes and a bit, we might do that.
Sure can.
So, Tom, you've never seen Star Trek Discovery? He's on mute, is he? Yes, he is.
Yes, he is.
He's probably gone to do a Riley.
Possibly. Or muted himself while he got the coffee cups out.
And Arctic's probably getting ready for his premiere, so... What did we talk about for 2 minutes?
I'm here.
Oh, there he is.
Oh, there you are. Oh, okay. Have you been to sea recently?
I was replying to customers on an email, so... I have only 4 waiting on my premiere, so it's better to stick here.
Oh, okay.
Everyone's probably watching
chat,
this.
Actually. Only real Doctor Who is Tom Baker. Well, people of my generation would agree, but younger people would have different choices, I guess. I thought John Pertwee was not bad either.
He was, yes.
I've
just pasted the link for Arctic's premiere in the chat there, so everyone can click on it and at least open another window.
Yes, I'll do the same thing.
Because, high IQ research and all that.
Well, yeah.
Now, talking about back to ships, there were a couple of big ships that crashed in the middle of the ocean. And another question for those watching, why can't you see the shore when you're out in the middle of the ocean on a ship, because flat earthers say it's flat. Why can't you see it?
And
Perspective.
your answer is it's too far away.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, of course.
perspective. Yeah.
Yeah.
And why do they say it's too far away when they say we can see too far? I don't understand
Well-
the opposites.
I had a thought about this. If you've got someone somewhere like in an island that's close enough to a shoreline, but over the curve enough, you could set some fireworks off from either place, film both of the fireworks going off, and then see if you can see them exploding at the horizon. And then, like, you film like fireworks are obviously quite visible when they blow up. So I'm looking at maybe doing something like, we're not allowed to set off fireworks around here, obviously, by hand, but something like that, I think, could be done. There's all sorts of things you can do. Like lighthouses prove that the Earth is a globe.
Yes, if you go to Kingscliff, you can see the Cape Byron Lighthouse at night time.
There you
go. But only just. So, depending on different, if you went there every night and took pictures, you'd have different results because the refraction would change. Just like with the Black Swan photo.
Well, Arctic's only 34 seconds away, so we'll keep babbling for that long, and then I'll flick over and we'll watch it.
Yeah, it's unusual that we can't babble for 34 seconds.
Oh, yeah, well, no, I'm sure we can come up with something.
Big chat about Doctor Who in the
there is.
in the chat. I guess they're not listening to us anymore, so we may
The
say
Corgis in the dome are actually going right at the BBC, and good on them.
Yes. Sick 'em, lads. All right, well, we're under 10 seconds, so let's flip over, eh? I like that fine stupidity and reveal it.
Welcome. Finally, I screamed when I found this video. A flat earth fanatic who has ventured into one of my absolute favorite topics, the Northern Light. He thinks that with the help of Northern Light, he has found something does not work on a globe. Put on your helmet, because Don't Swear the Truth has time for a lot of stupidity in a few minutes.
That's cloak-proof.
Interesting that you selected this page as your source. A page from a small family business on an island near where I live. It's no errors in this information, but you missed a very important sentence. There are several reasons why. What do they mean by that? When you make forecasts for whatever you will be able to see the northern lights, the copy index is one of 5 measured values you include in the calculation. Furthermore, it must not be cloudy, as northern lights is much higher up than the clouds. I will address all of this in an upcoming video about taking photos of the northern lights. Why do you measure the distance to Oregon? 36 degrees east. Aurora borealis is mostly referred to as northern lights. Does this give you any clue? If you instead measure the same distance north, then you end up in southern Alaska. I wonder what you should use these distances for. I suspect it's something really stupid.
Porn music? What? They just have no idea how the world works.
Just like I guessed, you used the distance to something really stupid. A lot of errors in your conclusions. Let's look at this your way, but we start with the reality that the northern light is called a northern light for a reason. First, we look at what the longitude Hawaii have, and it's about 21 degrees north. Then we look at the southern Oregon. They have about 42 degrees north. Then we look where we end up if we take 42 degrees north of Hawaii. And finally, we measure the distance there. 1,444 miles, not 2,470 as you calculated. However, this is not your biggest problem. If it is copy index 7, it does not mean that the northern lights are in a given place. It gives an indication that it can be seen in a certain place. At home, I can have a fantastic northern light with copy index 0 and does not see anything with copy index 3. If you see the northern light in Hawaii, it's not 2,000 miles away along the Earth's surface. KP index is just a rough indication of how far south you can see the northern light. I can bet that you didn't understand that. The storm they relate to is not the ordinary storm. It is about the magnetic superstorm of September 25, 1909. The 1909 storm was one of the most intense in the 20th century. Strong solar storms often give extreme northern light that reach much further south than normal. Same for the southern lights. Then you also get observation in places that normally don't see the northern lights. Okay, now I can't stand more nonsense from this flat earth fanatic. I will address more about the northern lights in an upcoming video. In that I will give tips and advice about photograph and filming northern lights. I also will give some tips about forecasts of the northern lights. No, I will not calculate distance to Oregon. The pictures in the background I have taken of the northern lights in the Lofoten, Norway. Okay, that was all for this time. Thank you for watching. Bye.
Awesome stuff, Arctic.
He makes some gorgeous photos, doesn't he?
Oh yeah, beautiful part of the world. And they can. Okay, we're live again. They can hear us.
Cool. That was awesome, Arctic. Thanks very much for that.
I am absolutely
Yes,
jealous
I'm
of
with
where
you.
you live, Arctic. I will move there yesterday if I could.
Welcome.
Yeah, we've apparently Aurora Australis, at least, has been recorded here in Brisbane. We're 27.5 degrees south. So, 21 in Hawaii doesn't seem like much of a stretch. It's just a matter of conditions, isn't it?
Oh, heat shield's trying
But
to...
the Aurora Australis is CGI, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, of course it is.
Yes.
Whole Australia is CGI.
Well, yes, we're actors, of course. Yeah.
Hugh, I think you need to pull heat shield up out in the chat. He's trying to summon Gary Wybenga.
What are you saying? Like Beetlejuice?
He's asking where is Gary Wybenga when you need him. No one ever needs Gary Wybenga heat shield.
Yeah, that's a nonsensical question. Yeah. So if you're on my stream and you just watched Arctic Reflections video, please go over to his video later on and like it for us so that he gets the likes and the interactions as well. Because he deserves them. He did all the work on that, and that was awesome. One thing I want to ask you, Arctic, because I've never seen the Aurora Borealis or Australis myself. You see videos of it sort of moving. I was wondering if that's time-lapse, or do you actually see it moving in real time?
You see it moving in real time, and it can move quite fast too.
Wow! So they weren't just time lapse. That's awesome.
No, it's not. But you need to have dark around you to see it real good. If you're in a town, it's hard to see. But where I live on a small island, I see it with a naked eye all over the sky.
Uh-huh. Or you take a camera with a good time exposure, I guess.
You can take it with a mobile if it's a strong northern light.
Wow. Okay. Yes, I look forward to seeing those one day. I guess I better do it sometime soon, once COVID's out of the way.
I think one of the first pictures I saw of yours, Arctic, you were on your way home, you jumped out of the car on the side of the road and just grabbed a camera out and took a picture of it. And that was one of the most beautiful. I think I've got it saved on my hard drive here somewhere, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, and then that was taken without the tripod.
Yep.
I only wish Flurfs would take some decent photos. For freak's sake, I tell you.
Well, Ranty gets great globe proof all the time. But yeah, it could
But his
definitely.
photos are always out of
Yeah,
focus. I
yeah.
mean, the black swan.
Definitely needs to-
that's
yeah,
seriously,
definitely needs
if
to
people
visit.
can't see how distorted that is,
Yeah.
they must be blind.
Yep, definitely needs to visit Arctic for some tips on it, I think.
Well, hopefully he will.
Yeah.
He's had the offer, that's for sure.
Let's see if Ranty can manage to take some photos of the Northern Light.
Well, speaking of Ranty, we've got something about him. If everyone can see it
Yes.
up on the video screen there. We can have a look at that now.
Yes, the next thing we're going to have a look at is the Ranty live stream, which is now run by Brandon Toy. While Toy or Troy?
Troy Brandon, yeah, he calls himself.
Yeah. While Ranty's away for a little while. Ranty was supposed to be starting a job, but apparently he's now in hospital doing something. So we genuinely wish Ranty all the best for that and hope he recovers quickly. No one wants to, wish him harm or anything like that. But yes, we're only going to go through maybe the first half an hour of this because it goes on for several hours. But it's such classic flirtdom happening. There's two people in there in particular, Right the Hand and the Plain Truth, and they just demonstrate why flirts don't really understand anything, really. But they're so adamant that they're correct, of course. And, we'll go through and live debunk this. There's a lady in there. She sounds like an American of some sort. I think her name was Naffy. I've never heard of her before, and I couldn't see. I was going to look up a channel, but I couldn't find it. And she seems to be on the Globe side, although she seems to be a bit on the fence. And she was making some good points, but and they were just treating her really badly because that's what they do. But hey, I put a timestamp to start with. I think it was 5:55. We'll start there because they just go on with the intros and give us money for so long.
Yep.
So let's start
me.
where they start getting to the meat of it and see what they say.
Oh, and Digital Demonic Davros is yelling at you, Hugh. He says he wants to be in here. He wants to be inside you. Inside the oh, hang on, no, wait, that's something else. Ugh.
Stuff that guy.
I know. I told him, well, I did say to him, well, you don't STFU, so no.
Yes, that's the new catchphrase, isn't it? SDFU Davros.
Yep, Davros, yep, that's it.
So everyone do that in the chat, please. Type SDFU Davros.
Doing okay. How's everybody? Hope things are good. And certainly missed the show yesterday, but that can happen, eh? Got to live with it.
This is Randy's live stream, by the way.
Yeah, gotta do what you gotta do, Actually, Jimbo, before I forget, Dr. John D is trying to get a hold of you. So if you could hit me up on Skype, I think he wants to have a conversation with you.
Don't even bother.
Right on. I got no.
Oh, somebody's mic's open.
Dr. John D, I recognize that's not Dr. Zach. That's another one of the doctors. Hey, Dr. John D. I'm trying to place them in the scheme of things.
Yeah, he's a regular around here on the show, in the chat and stuff.
Right,
he's a good guy.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, pause there.
I just have no short term.
So for those who don't understand, Dr. John D is the guy who filmed, you would have seen one of my videos. He alleged that he filmed France from Worthing in southern England. And I did a video on that, and he's got no proof that it was France at all. But Ranty claimed that was the best flat earth evidence, bar none.
It looks like dirty clouds. It really does.
At the most, yeah.
Was he proven to be a doctor at all? We can't find any research on him.
There is a Dr. John Day at Bristol University, which isn't too far away. And I contacted him and he said, no, that's definitely not me. And he's actually a physicist and he specializes in refraction. So I wonder if Dr. John D chose his name to sort of confuse the two somehow.
That is interesting.
Yes.
Curious.
Anyway, so on with the stupid.
Right.
Their memories and stuff there. Too much weed, maybe.
Okay. Dr. John D did the France from Wales.
Full screen, mate.
Didn't he?
Oh, right on.
Oh, you have.
Cool
Okay,
stuff.
sorry. I was looking at the stream.
Did he hit you up on Skype and hey, I want to have a conversation?
I haven't been on Skype for a few days.
Tom, jump in. Say stop if you need to.
Let me tell you, he is an absolute waste of time. Waste of time, right? So he's talking about...
Well, hold on, before you get into that, let me finish the introductions and then we'll get going. Sorry to interrupt you.
Way to chime in there, Jeremy, with your personal opinion.
Well, that's what this show's all about. But I know, I just want to. If I don't stick to a schedule, then I'll forget. Bob Dole, what's up, man?
Hello.
Hey, all right, and right the hand, Untamed Fame. How you doing tonight?
Oh, doing
Already causing trouble.
bro. Just talking causes. Just having my opinion causes trouble.
Yeah, that'll happen. So you've been having some conversation.
Because oh my god, I had to pause it. Right the hand is such a
douche.
Yeah, I've got other words that I'm trying really hard to bite my tongue and not use. The Australian ones for, bad, nasty jerk people. He is just ratbag, scum, lower than pond scum, even. The guy needs mental health help.
He's not exactly a nice person, put it that way.
No, definitely not.
It's a common trait with flat earthers. They just aren't very nice people generally. It's because it's a lot of them are. Hads has been went to university with Dr. John Day, not Dr. John D, that I mentioned earlier. So that's interesting. Good. Yeah, because they were from Bristol, so yeah, that's interesting. And Dr. John Day said that I could ask him questions. He might not respond, but I could ask him questions about refraction. So when that comes up, I will.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I forget. Oh, flat earthers are bad people. Yeah. Because if you saw FTFE or Team Skeptics, I think it was, live stream this morning. They were talking about that and proving to the guy they were talking to how bad Nathan Thompson and Nathan Oakley are, for example.
They had Rad Vlad on yesterday, I believe it was, for us, and he just came in throwing homophobic slurs out the gate.
He had nothing but ad hominems. He had no evidence, no argument, no reason. He just insulted everyone.
Anyway, we'll go back to this and see how much worse it gets.
Yep.
Questions with John or Dr. John on the side?
Yeah, he sounded all like official. He was like, "Well, good day, my fine sir, this evening. Would you care to partake in a lively discussion about aether and energy?"
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I didn't. The name sounded familiar, but I'm like, he sounds like a globe troll. So he starts talking about like energy, right? Blah blah blah, and then I'm like, I state my definition. Energy is the chemical utilization of matter. So he goes, but what is matter? And I'm going,
can we chipmunk this a little bit just to make sure?
What does it mean to have physical structure? And I'm going, it means to occupy space in reality. He goes, well, what is occupying space? I'm like, look, if you're just going to keep asking question after question, never give me anything unique, then you're an idiot.
Maybe not two times.
Positive thought on something I said, or you're just like WS in the chat. You just said the same thing because you're trying to get to a certain point, and you just couldn't do it. He's a waste of time. I'll show you the thing. It's just such. They all do the same thing. When you take them right to where they're going to be wrong, they just shut off. Like, look at the chat right now. Look at WS, how he just keeps copying and pasting the same thing. I asked you a question. I asked you. Because they just don't want to have the conversation.
So he's being totally hypocritical there. He's saying that, you go to Globers and you challenge them and they shut off and then they don't want to have the conversation. That's flirts.
Yeah, I've never heard Right the Hand actually address anything that's been presented to him. Or, Suppose Chemo or, Flat Water or Rakia Life or QE or any of them.
Well, my introduction to Right the Hand was on Planet Walk's channel, and I think they went for like 3 hours, and I think Planet Walk said about 6 words in those 3 hours. He just spewed out utter rubbish for all that time.
Yep, and he also kept him waiting for a couple of hours, had it all organised.
That's right, yeah.
And dogged him on it.
He just spoke rubbish, It was just it was no argument, no facts, nothing like that. He just like he was reciting a book.
Yeah.
Tom, you can jump in if you like.
Yeah, that's what they do, though. You and Dark Matter, they jump in. They don't give you any concrete evidence, and when you try and tie them down, with a specific answer, they never ever answer. They'll just obfuscate, or they'll jump to somewhere else. And you go, what the? I want you to answer, why does the sun move? No. A perspective, or whatever it is. Whatever. I'm
going to get some more examples of that later on. So let's... Arctic, you got anything to say?
Not at the moment. I will be gone for 15 minutes. I will return, and I have to take a customer call.
No worries. All right, on with the stupid.
If you were asking me, that means you don't know. Right? So they're going to ask us, well, how does the sun set on a flat Earth? So you don't know. So you have no fucking idea. So you can't assert anything because you already established that you don't know. And this is just a ring around the crap that they give you, these words in a circle.
So I've never had any experience with Dr. John D that wasn't positive. And you know what's funny? I was reading your Skype conversation with him, and I was thinking, this is kind of along the lines of what Right the Hand's been talking about. These guys should like hook up and talk. Your name must be different on Skype. That must have been you.
Yeah, I'm Clutch123.
Okay, all right. Yeah, he seemed like he was going down the same path you were, trying to define physical and space and real and all that stuff.
Yeah, but when you give it to him, that's when he won't agree. He would never agree on anything. I was like, agree or disagree on my definition. And instead of agreeing on anything, he would just ask another question, which was basically the same. He asked 5 times for me to somehow explain physical matter. I used occupied space in reality, physical structure, matter, a chemical, like every possible way you can describe an object. I tried, and he just kept asking, huh, what, why? And I was just like, look, this is what we do. They have nothing. They have.
So once again, he's projecting. That's exactly what flirts do, all that sort of stuff. It's just, they live in a fantasy world, basically.
Yes, they do. And Right the Hand is one of... he has admitted that he's not a flat earther. He's literally just a contrarian who wants to have an argument. That's it.
And I think it all goes... Well, yes, wanting to have an argument. It all goes back to the conspiracy mindset. You don't trust anyone. So you're always going to be in conflict with anyone you speak to.
Did he pay for the 5-minute argument or 10-minute argument?
Yes. You've already paid, or another £1. Okay.
No, you haven't.
I've forgotten all about that. Skip.
No, you haven't.
Yes, I have.
What are you talking about?
It's just a contradiction. No, it isn't. Yeah. Yeah. So we're going to see more of that. But the Right the Hand's just such a waste of space.
Yeah, he is.
Yes. Ugly German Truth says, sadly, dishonest people cannot imagine anybody to be truthful. And not just dishonest, but conspiracy nutters as well, because they don't trust anyone. So you can't trust that anyone's going to be truthful.
Like I've been doing this roughly a year now since I first appeared on FTFE. I've been in the community for about a year now, and first appeared on FTFE's 20-hour stream, and since then I think I've learned a lot of their tactics. And one of his is to say, "Oh, so can we agree that this is a thing?" And most of the times people won't agree that what they're saying is, and it's not just him either. It's a lot of flat earthers will do this. They'll say, "Oh, can we agree on this premise before we get into it?" And they malform the whatever they're trying to phrase in such a way that agreeing would give them what they think is a point. It's you've got to watch out for that. Like when they say, "Oh, can we agree on this?" as a thing happens.
Yeah, Oakley did that, didn't he?
Yep.
Yeah. So that atmospheric pressure was gas pressure.
Yep. Rakia Life is another one that does it. So
what is it about them that they don't understand the difference between gas pressure and atmospheric pressure? I don't understand. They're 2 different things.
Well, I think they just don't want to understand because it ruins their worldview.
Yep. It is willful ignorance.
Yeah. And if that ruins their worldview, they're not part of the team anymore.
Yep.
So
exactly.
Not that there's much of a team to be part of. But...
Not anymore.
It's like they're sort of idiots banding together to defend from being called idiots. It's sort of, I just don't understand that logic.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember seeing Professor Dave, and then we had Professor Phil Bell come on, attack these, have a go at these flirfs, and they got really intelligent people giving these dorks information, intelligence, real life perspective, and yet they still don't listen.
Yeah, from someone who studied all their lives, who knows more than most people on the planet about it. So, yeah, Dr. Phil is so good on Ranty's stream. He really gets into him. And it's sort of, in a sense, I feel it's beneath him because those people are not going to understand what he's talking about. And they actually think they know more than Professor Phil, which is totally delusional. But, yeah, he does it, I think, because he enjoys it, really. I mean, why else would you do it?
Yeah.
Well, I did see Professor Phil say that he actually talked to Ranty and Sleeping Warrior, and they mentioned to him that, in fact, they actually do believe the world is a globe, but they just prattle on as if it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. But if they said anything other, then they wouldn't be part of their group anymore,
Just about everyone's seen the Cat Earth video where Oakley's having a little chat in the back room with Riley saying, "Oh, don't talk about that lighthouse. That's not good for us."
Yeah, perfect globe proof. Yeah.
Oh, hang on. No, that would be bad was Bob, wasn't it? Thanks, Bob, by the way.
Yes, thanks, Bob. These, did you see when Oakley and Bob fell out because of that?
Yeah, that was hilarious.
Yeah. Maybe we should do a live stream on Flurf meltdowns at some point.
I reckon. I've got a few of them.
Yep. Anyway, on
Let's
with
keep
the stupid,
going.
I think.
Been trained in just hearing something and repeating it. They don't think for themselves, because if they thought for themselves, they wouldn't be ballers. So they can't get past that way of learning, right? So they have to be told what it is, or else they can't think.
But Dr. John D's not a baller, as far as I know, is he?
What he sure talks.
No, he's not a baller, dude. He does. Yeah, he's a flat earther for sure.
Yeah, pause it.
Or somewhere along that persuasion. I don't want to speak for him, but
Yes, isn't that funny? Yeah, right. The hand's going off about Dr. John D, but he's actually not a baller. He's a flurf.
They have a lot of. That's another thing. They always seem to have some sort of disagreement amongst their own, little cliques. Nathan Thompson and Flat Earth 100 Air had a falling out because Flat Earth 100 Air doesn't believe there's a firmament. Called Nathan a snow globe tard.
That's a good name for it. Actually.
Yeah.
It's not. It's he's much worse than that, but yeah.
I think I laughed when I watched the video where someone found the piece of the firmament. It was blue. I'm thinking,
yes. Yep. Creaky did a video on that. No, Creaky did a video on that.
Okay.
Yep, Creaky Blinder, yep.
But what Right the Hand said, they got to accept what they're told and that sort of thing. But when I did physics at uni, we were made to do all the experiments to prove it to ourselves that these things were real. We're not just simply told it. We've got to actually prove it to ourselves so that we can understand it and then move on to the next level.
But you've done experiments. See, this is the difference between you and flirts. Flirts don't do experiments. They expect us to do them.
That's right.
Yeah, well, they do experiments, but they never think through them.
No.
The design of the experiment is probably the main thing.
So you've done the egg experiment, have you?
Yeah, but anyone can do that. I mean, but that doesn't prove what Riley thinks it proves. So you got to consider more than just what you're looking for. You got to say, okay, I'll put that as my last hypothesis. What other possible things could be causing this? That's the way you approach it. But this is what Right the Hand was saying we don't do, but it's exactly what we do, and it's what they don't do.
Yes, it is.
Anyway, on with the stupid, I think.
Yep.
He could not. Okay, it's the same with Jeremy's. Nobody is capable, or maybe Doc and Xavier are the only people that somehow have the brain to establish the difference between a real physical object like a rock and the words we use to describe them. People cannot do that. They cannot say, well, and I was like, look, the reason Santa is not real is because there is no Santa Claus physical structure.
What?
If you
Santa's not real.
saw Santa going from chimney to chimney delivering presents, you grabbed his beard, watched him eat cookies, you couldn't say he's fake because he was in existence. The fact that there is no Santa, there is no matter to make up Santa to have him exist, that's what makes things not real. But they can't do that because once they establish that line, they can't make the ball Earth. So there's just this, or whatever you want to believe. But he wasn't genuine. If you're give me something, he just wasn't.
Okay. Well, you guys obviously have a difference of opinion. Let's see. What is real and what I've been thinking about is water being flat. Have you ever noticed that water finds its level? Because
what about raindrop?
Yeah, I got that the other night. A raindrop, and someone sent me a picture of a fountain. And I'm just thinking to myself, oh, in God's name, does a fountain prove that there can be a gigantic hump of water in the middle of every large lake, and not to mention the Pacific Ocean?
There's a rule, and it applies to what we call mobile fluids, mobile liquids. Mobile means they flow and stuff. Is they will fill a the size of whatever they're in, and lay flat. Water got a little bit of an uptick on the side. That's just surface tension. A drop of water.
That's porn sites.
Sure, but if you add some wetting agents like they do in car finishes and other stuff, what it does is it reduces the surface tension so it doesn't form a bead. So it lays flat on the car and sheds off easier. Because the little beads are no good. Out in the sunlight, they act like magnifying glass, and they burn through the paint. So
okay, can you pause the video?
Watch it in the sun.
There we go.
So this is the typical Flurf argument. Water finds its level, and no one disagrees with that. It's just amazing that they keep bringing it up. But the problem, what they don't get, is it's level at each location.
Yeah, locally.
It doesn't. Yes, it doesn't. Every point on Earth's surface, it's level. Every point on the ocean surface, it's level. Well, taking away waves and things like that. But if you go to different parts of the Earth where the gravitational vector is different, it's still going to be level at the point of the surface, but it's not relative to each other. They're going to be at different angles.
I mean,
you're absolutely right here because down under where we are, we go out to the beach.
We're up over, mate.
Level, right? And then when I went to London and I went to the Thames, the water was level there too.
Yeah.
Bev is kind of right. Level is horizontal, but here's the thing. Everyone is always on someone else's horizon. That's the thing they don't realize. So their horizon is going to be, level for them. But for us, it's not. Like if we were to take plumb bobs and put one at each location and then measure the angles between those, it always ends up being that they're not level to parallel to each other.
Yeah, and this
There's
is
an
easily
angle.
Proven by bridges. If you put a plumb bob at each end of a long bridge, say a kilometre or so, what was the one in New York, the Veronazon Bridge? I can't remember what it's called. And it's dead plumb on each end, but they are at different angles to each other, and you can measure that.
I think the Golden Gate Bridge is like that as well. It's got slightly higher clearance at the bottom than it does at the
That's
top.
long enough, yeah. So yeah, it's so easily provable, and yet they refuse to even look.
The information's out there, and they say, "Oh, do your own research." They don't do their own research. I actually challenged one of them in Gem Panda's Discord server the other night about, their claims of NASA faking photos and everything that we've got of the blue marble and everything like that. I said, all right, well, why haven't any of you guys done a GoFundMe to, get a license for some forensic software that you can run videos and photos through? And this went on for about an hour. And this guy ended up saying, oh, I'm a coder and I could, look at code and rah. And that's when I said, so you'd be able to have a look at the programming that you've bought then, the base code of it, and see if it's functioning correctly. That would be doing some research. And then come back and tell us if they're fake or not, according to the forensic software.
Yeah, part of the problem is they have no idea what research actually means.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But yeah, he just kept saying, no, why would we need to do that? And rah. Well, you're the one making the claim that they're fake. And I've done it. Like myself, Sheeple's Phoenix have done it live in Gem Panda's server before. And pulled the photos up and gone, this is what it looks like. This is what a fake one looks like. See what's different? This one's real. This one's not.
And we didn't use a dictionary definition for it either.
Exactly.
And, you're saying about doing the experiments themselves. I think that Mr. Sensible spent just a couple of £100 on the Mage experiment. So why can't they do that?
Yeah, exactly. The dog cam? That's not a fisheye. Well, there's one fisheye on it, and the other one's not got a fisheye. You can tell where the curve is. They're just liars.
And, anyway, let's go on with the stupid.
Yeah.
How about this? What shape is water when it's not moving?
Well, right.
Yeah, that was me. I asked that, and nobody answered the question.
I thought it sounds like a rhetorical question, though. It's obvious, right?
The
shape of the container.
Now you're roboting, Jeremy.
It's like nobody looks at water at all. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
What do you mean? We talk about water all the time.
Because I'm hearing people say, "Oh, it doesn't curve. It's always flat." That's a lie. We know what water looks like.
Well, let me tell you this. If you took the Pacific
not
Ocean,
magic.
if you took the contours of the Pacific Ocean and the waves and all that shit, and you made let's say a basketball-sized object out of it, that size, like a flat piece of iron to represent that, it would be smoother than a cue ball. That's how little those waves and stuff matter. It would be so smooth on the scale that we're talking.
I paused it there because water doesn't find its own level. It curves all the time at the beach with waves and whatnot. Ever seen a
Conforms to the
tsunami?
forces upon it. Yeah.
Yes. Anyone ever seen a tsunami or a depiction of a tsunami? That's not finding its level.
And what about that video of the water in the ISS creating a bubble around the camera?
Yep.
Yeah.
You can pour a glass of water onto a bench, and you can then, if you look at the side of the bench, you see the water curving there and on the bench, and they're going to say, "Oh, that's just the surface tension of it." It's like, well, why is it doing that?
Yeah.
What's making it do?
What is
It's
it
the relative
acting against?
density of it. But yeah, the relative density thing is absolute bollocks as well.
And there was something I found out today. There's, I didn't find out this bit, that there's a difference in the sea level height between the Pacific Ocean on the western side of the Panama Canal and the Atlantic Ocean on the eastern side of the Panama Canal. And the Atlantic Ocean is a bit higher. And the reason for that is all the oceans of the world, the western edge is always higher than the eastern edge. We're only talking like 10, 15 centimeters, something like that. But it's because of the rotation of the Earth. The water is literally sloshing over to the western end a little bit.
15 degrees an hour. Thanks, Bob.
Yeah. So again, that's proof of the rotation of the Earth. And it's water finding its level because it's conforming to the forces acting upon it.
Well, if water does find its own level, it does it twice a day. Like, finds a new level every day. Twice. When the tides change.
And yeah, flat Earth can't explain why tides happen at all.
Anyway,
well, why are raindrops round?
Exactly.
You know?
Well, that's surface tension, but yeah, they're still acting against gravity, aren't they? So, if there was no gravity, why would they conform to that space? Well, on the space station, they do become a blob, but yeah, it's still, why is the raindrop on the ground? Why did it fall as rain? Why didn't it just hang around where it was?
Shrugging again. Anyway, on with the stupid.
Yep.
Thinking about it as a flat, horizontal surface on the Pacific Ocean that waves, raindrops, none of that shit matters.
It matters if you're saying it's all flat, but it's not. Yes, at a lake, of course. When it's still, it looks flat. But you're saying water is always flat and it never curves. That's not true.
Well, there's a difference between flat and horizontal, right? Like the water. Hold on. The water is laying horizontal. Okay, now flat would mean that there's no waves, there's no valleys, there's no mountains. Like it is a table. Like we don't think the Earth is a table. There's hills. But if you had the entire course of the Earth, right, it doesn't curve underneath itself. Water would never curve underneath itself. That's a waterfall falls. It doesn't do the waterfall thing and continue around and just keep making this big circle. That's ridiculous. Like we don't never see that. To entertain that idea, I think is part of the problem.
Yeah, can you show us some evidence, Nappy, that's taking place? Because personally, I've never seen any evidence that there's these giant mounds.
Literally showing pictures.
What picture? What are you talking about?
Like if you look on the.
Hear you.
Huh?
Yeah, we hear you, Brian.
Sorry, go ahead, Brian.
I'm done. Go ahead.
Oh, thank you. I was just trying to make sure I was being heard, but water at rest. Water at rest is what we're referring to. And anybody who deviates from that, yeah, of course, you have waves, raindrops, all that. No. Water at rest. Fine. Well, not only that,
Exactly, yes. But other people are saying different things. And I'm like, that's not true.
Well, doesn't
of
water
course, that lake in the picture looks flat, of course. But someone is saying, oh, it never curves. And yes, it does. Water can change to anything. I don't get what people mean by it. That's what I'm saying. Of course, that's flat. It's still. You get it?
Do anything. It has to follow the laws and behaviors of itself. It can't just do anything. Water has to do what it can do, and it cannot, in mass, stick to a ball. A ball cannot contain water. Balls don't contain water. In order to contain water, you need some type.
Yeah, you're right.
There we go. Yep, now we're good.
Yeah, this is one of the stupid things that first say, oh, water can't stick to a ball, but we're talking about a planet. They're imagining a tennis ball. And, first of all, a tennis ball is somewhat absorbent, so it will stick to the ball somewhat. But there's a big difference between a planet and a tennis ball.
And see how they interrupt whenever they get challenged?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or they'll put their point across before the other person can say what they're going to say.
Yeah, they have to, because they know that what's coming is going to destroy them.
And I think what they're trying to do is that, if you've got one destroying point, but 6 weak but counteracting points, well, they're weak, but so they're not really counteracting. The sheer number looks better from a persuasion point of view. I've always said flat earthers, their main skill is persuasion. That to people who don't know better, their arguments seem very persuasive. But as soon as you look into it and understand what physics is about and all that sort of thing, you realise it's utter crap. But if you haven't had that education and that background, then you wouldn't know the difference. And they seem very persuasive. So as a result, you tend to believe what they say. That's how religions start, I guess.
Yep. Yes, indeed.
Anyway, there's a lot more of that coming up.
Type of sides, right? Without the sides, the water. According to water.
No, according to you, this is supposed to happen. I want to see someone who actually has a degree in something physics to tell me that.
You need a degree. You need to go to school to tell somebody how water behaves. You don't just need eyes.
Yes, you do. You need to go to school to be a doctor in order to know what diseases are, don't you?
So you need to be a doctor to know how water works. We're not talking about being a doctor. We're talking about how water works.
You have to have an education. All right, you know what I mean. You know
what degree would qualify?
Exactly what I mean.
We can't hear what your arguments are. If you guys could just take turns, speak one at a time, I appreciate it.
Like, do you need a degree to come to observe water and how it behaves? Like, do you need to go to school for 4 years and take tests, written tests, to be able to observe water and its behaviors? Is that what you're saying?
Okay, stop it there.
I have a degree to observe water.
Yep, go ahead.
So here's a fundamental mistake the flirts make all the time. They're confusing things. You don't need a degree to go out and observe things.
No, absolutely
You do
not.
need a degree to fully understand something, though, because the degree will take you through the full field of study and give you all the information that's available so that you can make a proper interpretation of what you're seeing in that observation. The observation in itself is just data collection.
Exactly.
That's all it is.
Exactly. And anyone can collect that data.
Yeah. Interpreting that data is a different thing.
Yeah.
And that's where they fall down, because they don't have the skills to do that. They don't have the knowledge, and they don't have the experience to be able to interpret it properly. They think they do. They think they do. Yes, this is Dunning-Kruger. Definitely Dunning-Kruger, top of Mount Stupid. They think they know better than everyone else because they want to feel like they know better than everyone else. But yeah, that is where the whole conspiracy nutter movement comes from, really.
Yeah, it's incredible how they think they know better than every single scientist from the past, couple thousand years.
Yeah, it's not like this hasn't been studied by many people over a long time.
And not just, scientists themselves, but as we said, people that, are just amateur astronomers, just ordinary people have made discoveries that have furthered science. These people, though, will never, ever contribute anything like that to society as a whole.
Now, I know they like to cite Admiral Byrd. However, he's actually visited Antarctica and done maps of the thing, and yet they say Antarctica doesn't exist because of the ice wall. I'm thinking, those two don't mix.
Well, that's a classic example, because they've misinterpreted what Admiral Byrd reported. He reported a dome. What he was reporting was the volcanic dome of a place like Mount Erebus.
Yep.
So, which is just a big mountain, basically. It's dome-shaped, roughly. And he said it was 13,000 feet high. Yes, Mount Erebus is 13,000 feet high. He wasn't talking about a sky dome. He was talking about the land.
Yeah, because
but the thing is that they don't recognize that he's actually been there when they say no one's actually can go.
Yeah, that's
to
right.
Antarctica.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and the other thing with
well,
the other thing with the dome thing is too. How would he have known it was a dome? He would have described it. I would have described it as a giant, what seemed like sheet of ice, or clear ice, or it wouldn't be. You wouldn't be able to see the dome. All you would see is like a section of it.
You're saying that that if Byrd saw the dome that they think he saw,
yes, if they saw if Byrd had seen the firmament, I would have imagined, and this is just me, if I was flying along and I saw this a big wall of what looks like clear whatever, the firmament. If I'd seen the firmament, you wouldn't be able to see up past a certain point anyway because it's supposedly so high. It would look like a giant wall of like a literal. He would be flying, so it would be bigger than the ones that flat earthers try to use pictures of the Larsen Ice Shelf and other places. Like they try to use iceberg pictures as proof of this ice wall that exists. But if the firmament is there and it's holding the waters out of Earth, you wouldn't see it as a dome. You'd see it as a big like glass wall that goes up and up and up. That's what he would have described it as. He wouldn't have seen the top of the thing, so he wouldn't have known it was a dome.
Yeah. Well, no one's seen the dome anyway.
Exactly.
That's the thing. You keep asking them for evidence of the dome, and they've got a picture of it, or got anyone ever seen it, touched it, or anything like that, and they keep coming back with nothing. And yet they're right somehow.
Because it's antecedent. She has to be there to keep the atmosphere in.
She's my least favourite auntie.
Yeah, she really is, isn't she?
Yeah. All right,
we'll keep going. Yep.
Fucking
I like Auntie Jack.
The water is supposed to behave like this or that or this. You don't know that because you haven't studied in that area. Like I can't say, the heart is supposed to do this. That's a lie. I don't know that because I never went to medical school.
Okay, so what
you're making up what's supposed to happen. You can't just make up and say, water can't stick on the ball. Why not? Okay. How do you know that?
Okay, so if we were trying to find out what water would do, wouldn't we observe water?
Why are you not answering the question? That's not what I'm asking. You know exactly what I'm saying.
No, I am. Well, you're telling me we need to know how water behaves. And I'm going, wouldn't we look at how water behaves to figure out how water behaves?
You know what I'm talking. No.
So you're just
you
not
don't
going to know?
You're just looking at water. You can just look at water and not have a degree. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
No, I don't. That's why I'm asking you. Are you telling me
and like the physics part, you do
Yeah,
need
Cypher, I
education
don't think
to
there's
know
any
what the fuck
value
they're talking
showing
about.
the full screen
so when we're talking
of
about
Ranty's stuff.
if
What
you
is
just mute
supposed to
her,
be
we
there?
will lose
Supposed
nothing
to be
for this
that.
conversation. Like, it won't hurt anybody. Yeah, just so you know, she's
Now we
telling
can
you
talk
that in
over
order
it.
to gain
The
the
audio's
property,
back on that one.
which we
That's not
figure out.
what I said.
Hold on,
That's
you're
not what I
interrupting.
said.
I'm saying go back to
Say
the
it by
Corgi
yourself.
Dome because
It's not our job to teach little children.
Sorry, say again.
to go back to the Corgi Dome. There's no need to
Yeah, I
show
did,
Randy's
yep.
because there's nothing
Yep.
on it. So,
Yep.
yeah.
Like this, who
It's
has
just
not
the
even done
chat.
the basics
Yeah,
of logic and comprehension. Okay. She can't think for herself. She can't make her own
she can't.
decisions or leave an opinion.
There's no need to insult, guys. Come on, man. What's wrong with you guys?
It's not any more of an insult than calling someone ignorant. It's not our job to teach little children.
Hey guys, we're quickly getting out of control, and I agree with SE.
That's another thing. They can't think for themselves. Oh, it's your religion that you believe in this glob that floats through space, you know, with water sticking to it. It's not a religion at all. I can't stand religious, you know, practices and things like that. I read stuff. I look all over the internet. I've read books before on science and stuff, and I've never looked up, like I've admired scientists like Stephen Hawking and Neil deGrasse Tyson and Carl Sagan. Absolutely. Looked up to them, admired and respected the work that they've done, but I've never worshipped any of these people, ever. Or put them on a pedestal like they were, you know, some sort of god.
Well, when they're saying religion, they're meaning like taking this all on faith, which we're not, because like
Absolutely,
I said,
that's what I mean.
If you're a physics student, you are forced.
You do this shit.
Not forced to do the experiments that prove that these things are real.
I'll put a $5 in the swear jar there. Sorry, Hugh.
Okay, I'm going to be rich. Woohoo. So it's and there's no Church of Science, well, Church of Scientology, but it's not the same thing. And there's no regular services, and there's no doctrine or dogma or anything like that. It's just we can observe this, and through the process of science, we come to say this is the most likely thing, and therefore we can make predictions and design technologies based on that.
If anything,
are we all professors of the globe Earth then?
Well, if we're like Kyle, then I guess everyone on Earth is a professor because we all profess something.
Kyle.
What's his last name? Kyle.
Good question.
Yeah, I don't really care, to be honest.
Yeah, no.
The Flat Earth
I'll tell you later.
I laugh.
We've actually nominated. He's getting a nomination this week.
Oh yes, he seems like he's genuine in his beliefs, but he's just a poor, deluded fool. To be honest, you feel pity for him rather than you think he's an idiot. So, anyway, poor guy. Where were we talking? Yes, they're going on, and this conversation is all about. Shouldn't we start by observing? Well, yes, you should, but that's not where it ends. Scientific method is much more than just observing.
You make observations and you draw conclusions from those observations, and then you re-observe stuff, and then you make more conclusions over and over. That's not how it works.
That's what Kyle says, yeah.
That is not at all how it works.
No.
You make some observations, and
you
the first thing you do is, you hypothesize, and then you say, okay, well, if that's happening, then could it be because of this? And if it is because of this, how do we do an experiment to figure out that it's this? And if that experiment doesn't say to us, well, this is what it is, then you design another experiment. Or you draw,
we change your hypothesis.
Or you change your hypothesis, exactly.
Yeah.
And the scientific method isn't a narrow-fielded view of things. There is no real firm scientific method for anything, because you're going to need a different scientific method in one experiment to another altogether sometimes.
Yeah.
Like you're
and different
dealing with
fields as
different, exactly. You're dealing with different things. There's never going to be one scientific method for like everything that we're experimenting on.
It's going to have similar elements, everything you do.
Yep.
Peer review's got to be part of it.
Yep.
Whatever you do, it's got to be repeatable by someone else who's independent, just to prove that it's actually a real thing.
Oh,
and it's got to be also reviewed by people who are experts to see that if you're not talking out of your ass or not.
And I was going to bring that up with the religious thing too. Science includes, religions from all over the world. It's not any, one thing. Like there are people from all different faiths that do science, and yet, are still able to have their faith, but know that this is real stuff. It's absolutely, hypocritically ludicrous of these people who, rely on the Bible as proof of flat Earth, that, we're involved in some sort of religion or cult, as they like to call us.
Well, the thing is, there's more than just Christian flat earthers. There's obviously atheist flat earthers, people like Dell, for example. And there's Hindu, I presume there's Hindu and Muslim and so on, other flat earthers as well. So, you know, they've got the religion on their side as well.
And there are Jedi on both sides as well.
Oh, probably, yes. Although Jedi are a bit more problematic, seeing they're a space-based religion. So.
Well.
And Trekkies.
And
Sorry, mate?
Trekkies, yep. Trekkies,
And Trekkies.
Trekkies on both sides, yeah.
Anyway, yeah, it's going to be more of this talking about observations for a little while. So, but just remember, observations is a start. Yes, we got to do those, but it's the interpretation of the data that's collected by those observations that matters, and then you've got to test it.
Well, let's say you live in Perth and I live in Sydney. We can observe the sun rise and sun set. Now, the time the sun rises and sets is in a different time, of course, because Australia is bloody big. So just observing, no maths at all, you can see that this object called the sun is traversing across the sky. How it does that?
Well, it's interesting you should bring that, because when I did the equinox observations, I didn't. The sun wasn't. It was cloudy here when it would happen for me in Brisbane, but Wolfie you saw Wolfie's sunset pictures. But the sunset here, and I was talking to Wolfie, and it was before he'd made his observation. So if the sun just moves away so far that you can't see it, it was somewhere between here and Perth, which means that's 4,000 kilometres. So that distance where it's too far away to see is less than 4,000 kilometres. And given it was like 3 hours before it was sunset in Perth, I think it was, you imagine it's a lot less than 4,000, maybe 2,000 kilometres. But, you know, they say that the sun is 5,000 kilometres up. So how can we see it at all?
Well, that does raise interesting questions about, you know, if the sun's that far away, how much further is the top of the dome? Or the sides of it?
Yeah, well, I was talking to Keith yesterday, and he was saying it's further out than any probe we've sent, which means I think Voyager 2 is the furthest one at the moment. It's out in the Oort cloud, but it's still a long way away. Yeah, and it will for a long time.
Back to the stupid. Yep, we'll listen to some more of this dumb stuff.
In Montreal, that we don't need to insult each other. Hold on, slow down, guys. So what was your point, Nappy? What was your point?
Education to know certain stuff. We all need education to learn some stuff. I'm not saying you specifically. I'm saying people in general. You don't just make up something that's supposed to happen if you don't know nothing about it.
Wouldn't the education of what water does come from observation of what water does, not what somebody does?
Why are you asking me the same fucking question?
Well, because you haven't answered. Because what you're saying is, in order to figure out, hold on, let me talk. Nappy, don't, come on. Don't interrupt me, please. Because what you're telling us is that water has these set behaviors. And before you can figure out what those set behaviors
says the man who will talk over you when you three words in a sentence or reply.
He's probably going to go to water and see how it acts and then tell me, hold on, why don't I just cut the middle? And then I can directly observe water myself, and I can learn the properties and behaviors of water myself. And that way, nobody can lie to
the properties of water by yourself.
No, but no.
We're talking about. You're not supposed to be sticking to a ball. You know that as a fact.
I said, don't hold on.
Slow down.
I'm saying that anybody who's going to give you education on the behaviors of water will have went to the behaviors of water. So you don't need to go to a person or a school because they're just going to go to the behaviors of water. So you can just grab water, a whole bunch of shapes, a whole bunch of objects, and do it yourself, and then observe what happens. And that's exactly what they're going to do.
Stop there.
They're going to look at water.
Yep, got it.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was saying. That you know, you can do the observations yourself, but you're not qualified to make the interpretations. You can only make a guess because all you know is the observations. The reason you go to someone out of school is because they studied it. They studied everything there is to know about the field. That's the whole point of getting a degree. And, well, at least the vast majority of it anyway, and far more than anyone who hasn't done that. And so that's why you go to them, so that you can get that insight into what you're looking at. How many times have you in your life seen something, thought it was one thing, and then later on you found out it was something completely different?
Yes, yep.
I can't think of an example right now, but I know that's happened many times.
Me too.
In my life.
I've had it.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean like there's the dragon rocks and the heartstones and stuff like that?
Oh God, stuff. Yeah, the pareidolia. Yes,
Well, it wasn't quite pareidolia I was thinking of, but just one thing came to me. I was driving up towards Noosa, and I saw it was nighttime, and I saw this thing. I thought it was a UFO at first, and I guess it technically was because I didn't know what it was, because that's what unidentified means. But as we got closer, we realised it was a blimp which had advertising on the side.
There you go. Yep, that's a perfect example.
Yeah. So I didn't know what it was at first, but I had observed it, and as I got closer, my observations got better, and I could figure out what it was. But I didn't know anything about blimps or anything like that. I didn't even know there was a blimp in Queensland at the time.
One night I was out camping out in a place called Swans Crossing near here, and feral cat was sitting like just outside of our fire range, but we could see its eyes, and we were sitting there thinking, "Oh, what the hell is that?" But it actually moved a little bit closer in, and like we thought it was some sort of demonic thing because it looked evil, obviously with the eyes, but came into the light a little bit, and we saw, oh, it's a cat.
Well, assuming it's a demon as your first response is exactly what a flurf would do with whatever observation they make.
Yep, crack the holy water
Now,
out.
a question regarding that cat there, though. You got the cold moonlight, was it warm moonlight, which was the side of the taping on, but how does the light reflect off the inside of the cat or dog or whatever to create that illusion?
You don't know? It reflects off the back of their
back of the eye,
yeah.
yeah. But
you mean where was the light coming from?
Well, no, I think with the cold moonlight, what he's talking about is how doesn't it freeze the eyes of the cats and dogs? And I've actually thought this when I've looked at the moon with my telescope. I'm like, my eye should be really cold by now, but nope, it's fine.
Well, you must have warmed up your eye or something. Yeah.
Well, I am wearing a protective bioorganic suit, so that could be it.
Did you put a filter on when you watch the stars or the moonlight?
No, it's just the mirror bouncing it off and into another mirror into my eye. Just the light. So you'd think that would like increase the coldness of it.
Yeah, you got a frozen eye.
Yeah. No one's ever had an eye frozen out by the moon before.
No. So welcome back, Arctic Reflections.
Hello, Arctic.
Thank you.
Hope your call went well. And we're watching Ranty's, Ranty/Brandon's last live stream. I'm hearing echo. Cypher, is that going to the stream or?
I don't think so. No,
no.
bar
Okay,
isn't
good.
bouncing. No, it's not.
I'll put up with it then. All right, on with the stupid.
I was just going to ask Nappy if she knows the first step in the scientific method.
No, I don't claim to know everything in science because guess what? I'm not a fucking scientist. I don't know everything. That's what I'm
We're
saying.
scientists get it from experiments, which is the observation of water.
Things are supposed to happen that you don't know is supposed to happen.
The only way you can know what's going to happen is by watching it.
I don't know it.
How would you know a rock falls if you didn't drop it?
Why do you keep asking irrelevant questions?
Because we're getting to where the
it has nothing to do with what I'm saying. Nothing.
It does, because you're saying
stupid ass irrelevant questions.
So then listen, you're saying the foundation of knowledge comes from the education which is given to you by other people. And I'm saying, no, you're fucking wrong. The foundation of knowledge, hold on.
Don't interrupt, please.
And you'll understand why you're wrong. Come on, don't interrupt. You're saying the foundation of knowledge or education and where we learn our truths comes from people in school. And I'm saying...
Did he interrupted her, and when she went to interject again, he's like, don't interrupt me. Just unbelievable. All right, I'll keep going.
Yeah.
That's bullshit. All of the foundation of knowledge will come from the observation of the real world. You can't tell me how. You can't say if a rock is going to fall without dropping a rock because you don't know. Just like you said, you don't know what will happen. So the only way to know what will happen is to go see it happen. So when you're trying to tell us that water will do these things, water does things that you never see happen. Yeah, that's why you have. This is how the ball earth is created, with things they never see happen and just beliefs. I actually agree with her right hand on this. You're a baller, just like her. Why would
Shut up, dude? I'm not a glober. Why would you even say that, bro? I was agreeing with you.
Guys, let's keep the ad homs out of this. Hold on, guys. We don't need to call each other ballers. We don't need to accuse each other of being shills. Let's just keep it civil tonight. But I do want to hear Jerry.
Yep.
Isn't that delicious? They start fighting with each other about whether or not they're bulls or not.
Yeah.
They just want the argument, as you said before. You know,
Yeah.
they're not interested in actually finding the truth or anything like that. They just want to be in conflict with other people.
And interrupt everybody as well, but they don't like being interrupted. Strange. That.
No, yeah, it's that. Yeah. And Whitsett is particularly good with that. He'll interrupt and talk over and literally monologue for an hour. And yet, when someone goes to reply to him, he'll jump on top of him. Or if someone even goes to speak when he is, he's like, "What are you interrupting me for? Whinge, whinge, whinge." They're victims. The majority of them.
Yeah, they want to be victims.
Yep.
Basically.
They're narcissistic, victims.
Anyway, on with the stupid.
Yep.
Jeremy, what is your source of disagreement? Why don't you right hand discuss that for a minute?
Oh, I said I agree with it. I was agreeing with him just now. I said I agree with.
We
him.
thought you said that you agreed with Nappy.
No, no.
That's what I heard too.
I did not
no,
say
not
that.
me. I heard him agree with right hand.
Okay. Oh, it's one of those black dress, blue dress things. All right.
No, it's not.
Well, I guess there's nothing much to talk about there then. Aaron, you chimed in there for a minute. What did you have to say?
Oh, I was just going to ask Nappy what the first step in the scientific method is, if she knew. And I did hear Jeremy say, I actually agree with right to hand now. So.
I had everyone in gems. When you're done, I had everyone in gems earlier with the scientific method. I'll tell you about it later. Go ahead.
You're roboting pretty
Just
bad,
because-
Jeremy.
Just because Nappy, if you can Google it real quick if you want scientific method, and but make sure you go to a scientific website. And as far as I know or have checked, the first step is to observe a phenomenon, or what they call.
That's the only step. That's the only. Hold on, think about this. That is of that process, right? That is the only thing you can actually do is observe a process, right? They'll say, well, make a hypothesis. That's a bunch of thinking. They'll say an experiment. That's observing a process. They'll say a conclusion. That's brain function. There's only one step. The only and this is the point I was making. The only empirical source for information and data is extrapolation from reality.
Stop.
You do not know how.
Yep. Once again, observation is the start. It's not the finish, and that's their problem. They view it as the finish. You've got to be able to be capable of interpreting the data you collect through the observation correctly. If you don't do that, you're going to get the wrong idea.
Yep, and I've actually noticed in the stream itself there, so Mr. Xavier has said it is, like, he's put the Robert Simmons quote from NASA in. It is Photoshop, but it has to be. It didn't have, well, the only reason the Photoshop was used to put images that were taken one over the other so that they can get a clearer look at what they were photographing.
Lower Earth, lower
Exactly,
Earth orbit, you get more resolution than you
exactly.
do from a geostationary satellite.
It's not photoshopped. It's just the same picture over and over and over again.
But they still haven't presented any pictures of the flat Earth from space, have they?
Nope. Well, space is fake, man. Space is fake. See, that's the thing. Whenever they have anything that challenges their worldview, they just declare it as false.
CGI.
There we go. Yep. All right. If you had nothing else to talk about that, on with the stupid. You there, Cypher?
Anything is going to do anything until reality tells you. Then
Yeah,
once
sorry,
reality tells you,
just,
bam, you've
dropped
observed the
the thing
process
for a
you
sec
now
there.
know. You think people knew rocks dropped at 9.82 meters per second just based on like other? No, you have to drop the rock. Reality has to tell you first, and then you play telephone from there.
Well, and we certainly should be able to observe everything that we're told by the so-called experts and, in the education field by just going out and observing it ourselves. But I do have one question for you, Nappy. It sounded like you were contending that you need to have a degree in order to really know something or have an opinion on something. Do you think that someone should have a political science degree in order to disagree with politicians or, say, the president?
That's not what I'm saying. Oh my God.
Well, clarify
I'm not
yourself. It's
saying
okay.
that.
Clarify.
I'm saying you don't need an education to know what water looks like. But if you're making claims and saying something is supposed to do something and you actually don't know that, that's different. Like, I don't know why does the Earth like rotate, orbit? I don't know that because I'm not an astrophysicist. They would know that, not me. That's what I'm saying. Of course you don't need a degree.
Listen, there's never been there's never been a demonstration of an orbit ever. Ever. They cannot demonstrate an orbit. Why do you think we're here, Nappy? You gotta listen to your brain up a little bit.
I'm using an example as what you need a degree for. I'm not saying, I'm just using that as an example.
All right, Nappy, real quick. Let me just hold on, just real quick, Nappy. Let me try to get some feedback. You said that if one of us was going to observe water and then make claims about water, but we don't know what water does. Okay, that's what you said. How do you know we don't know what water does?
Shout out.
You don't have any special training in any of the stuff.
Okay,
It's
again,
what degree would qualify you? I don't know what degree that is. I don't know that.
Can I say something? Hey, Nappy, listen. If you dig into this stuff, Nappy,
to know, you know everything about the human body? No. Who would
okay,
you
listen,
go to
we're
ask?
not making claims about the human body. We're not making claims about the human body.
But that's the example I'm giving.
Right, but see, when Right the Hand brought up another example to try to get you to think outside the box, you shut him down.
And we aren't making claims about knowing what everything about water is.
Wait, hold on, before she goes, hold on, guys, hold on. Hold on.
I'm done. It's okay.
Hold on, Nappy, hold on. Hold on, y'all.
Fucking people out here insulting people for what they believe in, but don't expect to get insulted when you believe in something.
I'm with you.
Nah, I'm done.
Wait a minute. Hold on a minute. We defended you when you got insulted, Nappy.
I will defend you to the end. Don't worry. Let me ask you a question, Nappy. I get what you're saying. Let me see if I understand you. And I agree with you. In order for somebody, let's say me now, I was going to have a heart surgery, right? There's no way I would let a plumber touch my heart, right? This is what you're getting at, right?
Thank you. Yes.
And I agree with you 100%. None of us here have. Hold on, please, Brian. Give me just 30 seconds, bro, and then I'll let you go. So I would never let a plumber touch my heart. But Nappy, some things are evident. Like for example, water, right? We know water. You don't have to be a genius to understand water. We know that.
That is the weakest argument essayist I think I've ever heard from him.
Absolutely.
You wouldn't trust a plumber to do heart surgery on you, but, you know, we can't trust these people that have put rockets into space, that they've actually done it. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, and it just demonstrates the way they construct this worldview around themselves to protect them from the truth.
Just, why would you deny reality like this?
Because they want to be part of the group. They found a group they like, even though they're full of people who are disgusting, and they don't want to leave that group. They want to be separate from everyone else.
Yep.
Now, was it Rad that said that rockets didn't work in space because they didn't have any oxygen or something
Rad
like
Vlad
that?
and Spurs Chemo, and I feel, I've heard one guy in Gems named Percentage, calls himself Percentage, say that. That's a pretty common thing with them.
And that's the amazing thing, is because they've all been told that they carry their own oxygen, the rockets, so that the fire can happen, and yet they just sort of ignore that, and they just persist with their idea that rockets can't work in space because there's no oxygen.
Well, just like the sun having no oxygen that still burns.
Yeah. Well, it's not on fire, is it? That's another JM thing. So.
Oh, Jay, what's happened to JM? Is he still floating around? I haven't seen much from him lately.
Well, I think the flat Earth community rejected him, so that's not the team he wants to be on anymore.
Shelley abandoned him in a field. At least he was left, outstanding in his field. Yeah, abandoned him.
Yeah,
abandoned.
So
yes.
He doesn't feel part of that group, and of course he's not a Glober, so he's sort of out on his own.
Bugger.
Rather sad, really.
Nah, it is. All right, back to it.
Water always, no matter what container at the bottom of you put it, when it rests, it's flat on top, right?
So
now I ask you this: have you ever seen an instance where water
he might come
around
in?
the ball
We'll
in
see
your
how
life?
it go.
Like what ball? Like just a regular ball?
Anywhere, ever.
No, because I can't see Earth from space, so I don't know that. I don't know how it looks from here.
This is it. So the only, agreed. So the only way we have to.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
All right, let me give an example, Essie.
You go ahead.
Okay, check this out. So we hold on. So we went to see how they figured out the distance to the sun. We looked at everything in depth, right? And now here's how they did it. And this is what they back up. So what they did is they made a guess that Venus. Yeah, no, I'm getting there, dude. You brought up all this contention. I'm trying to say what we've done. So she mentioned astrophysicists. Okay, so we wanted to see how far, how they figured out the distance. Shut the fuck up, dude. So we wanted to figure out the distance to the sun, how they figured it out, right? Because these people went to school, these astrobiologists, and we figured out they just made a claim and a guess that Venus is the same size as Earth. Okay, this is how they figured out the distance to the sun. Then they observed the transit of Venus across the sun.
Let him finish. Right the hand, please. Let him finish. Let him finish his point, please.
We were talking water sticking.
All right, let him get the point out. We won't deviate. I'll bring it back to the subject. Go ahead, Brian. Finish your statement.
Yeah, the point is the way these professionals figured stuff out was with guesses, was with pretty much assumptions. They assumed that Venus was the same size as Earth, okay, and then they measured the transit of Venus across the sun, how long it took, and all this stuff. That's how they figured this stuff out. It's all guesses and math, and so as far as water, I mean, just all this stuff. If you look into how the professionals figured it out, every single situation is all assumptions and guesses. There's no proof of orbits. There's no proof of all these claims they're making. We've delved into it. If there was proof, we wouldn't be here.
Yeah, stop it there.
Yep.
Yeah, it's so cute when they try to explain something and have no idea what they're talking about. But yeah, they just rattle on with words. It's just they've heard it somewhere in a book or something, so they just talk to try and pretend they know something they're talking about.
The words sound fancy and smart to them. So if I use these words, even though I don't know the definition or meaning of them, I'll get away with looking smart.
And they think they'll get away with that because they know that everyone they're talking to also doesn't know them.
Yes.
Well, it's like the transit of Venus. We looked up the Captain Cook, who actually came down to Australia to track the transit of Venus at the time.
Yep, Tahiti actually, but yep.
Tahiti, sorry, yes.
Australia was a bonus. Tahiti was the official reason for the voyage. But, discovering Australia was the secondary reason. But the main reason, but the secret reason is what I'm trying to say. He also discovered Antarctica on that voyage as well, I think.
Are you sure?
Well, he was the first one to see the ice wall. Maybe I'll put it that way.
And they say he travelled all his distance, all his routes on the ocean too long. They said, "Oh, he went all these places." He was exploring.
See, now I'm confused. Does Antarctica exist and we're just not allowed to go there, or it does exist and it's the ice wall and we're still not allowed to go there?
I'm just being sarcastic.
No, I know, but it came up earlier too. Like, they say it doesn't exist, and if you try to go there, you book your holiday and everything, or you can take a holiday to Antarctica, but you book it and they take you to some peninsula somewhere that's just really, really cold in the north or something. I don't know. There's so much crap.
They end up at my home.
Hey, not a bad place to end up, I've got to say.
In reality, I live in Antarctica. It's the same place.
Oh my goodness, we've got 52 watching now. That's pretty awesome. Thank you very much, everyone, for popping in to see what this is all about. Hopefully you'll hang around and you're enjoying what you're watching. All right, I guess it's time to continue with the stupid.
Good. Okay, look, he distracted totally.
Let Nappy respond. Let Nappy respond. We'll come back. Nappy?
I'm just done. I'm done. Like, when somebody expresses their beliefs, oh, you're a baller, and you got people, like, disrespecting them and stuff. Like, are you fucking serious?
Wait a minute. Weren't you calling us? Hold on a minute. Don't go down this road of crying about being insulted and people making fun of your beliefs. You're in our Discord every day saying Flat Earth is stupid. It'll never go anywhere. You call us cult members. You call me brainwashed. You say it's going to die. No one will ever believe it. So what's up with that?
We're being respectful to you. Come on now.
We're trying to have a conversation about this. Yeah.
Now, I'm talking about there.
Bro, there's a huge point that look, here's the point. We were talking about, in reality, seeing water sticking to a ball. And what she said was, well, I've never seen Earth. So the only ball that she's ever seen water stick to is the ball she's never seen. And this is what Brian was trying to get away from. We were like, when have you seen water stick to a ball? And she said, when the ball was so big, I've never seen it. That's their argument. When the ball is so big and I can't see water stick to it, that's when water sticks to it. That's the argument. So that's what needs to be addressed.
You really don't have to worry about me saying that.
I mean, you don't think when you get pointed out that you're in a religion. If I was in a religion and I believe something that I've never seen and somebody pointed it out, I'd either be like, wow, you're right, or I would figure out a way to discredit them. Usually it's through verbal attacks, right? Oh, right the hand, you're so stupid. You make no sense, right? Things like that.
Hold on, you're not talking about water, dickhead. You're not talking about water. Don't deviate.
You did deserve that a little, right, the hand. Come on.
A little bit. Okay, so somebody addressed the point I made. The only time water has been observed to stick to a ball is when you can't observe the ball to observe it stick. Okay, that's their argument.
Well, yeah, I'd like to see evidence. That's my problem. I've been asking for evidence of this for a long time. We, say they show us pictures and insist that the water hump is blocked.
You can get a picture every 10 minutes from the Himawari 8 of water sticking to a ball.
9. Yeah.
And the 9's not in service yet. It's not going into service until 2024. Yeah, it's up there, but it's not in service yet. Yep.
Oh wow, it's a long lead time. But anyway, yeah, they every picture of the Earth is water sticking to a ball. Like I said earlier, but their concept is a tennis ball for some reason. But how is that comparable to an entire planet?
Yeah, or that one where they've got the red ball and it's soaked in water and they spin it like 125,000 times faster than Earth is actually rotating. And it's all flying off it. That's not how fast Earth is rotating. 15 degrees an hour. Thanks, Bob.
Yeah, they're just being dishonest, basically. Simply because they want to be, because that helps them stay in the club.
Mm-hmm.
They could get a tennis ball, soak it in water, and try and turn it 15 degrees an hour and see if the water spins off that.
I would bet $10 it doesn't, but that's just me.
I bet an awful lot.
I bet 100.
100,000 even.
Well, see, I never lose a $10 bet. Well, I never lose the $10 bets, ever. I've never lost a $10 bet, ever.
I bet you
have. We've had the $100,000 bet from
I actually haven't. No, I've never once lost one of those $10 bets. I make sure, and that's the thing. I'll wait until I'm absolutely certain that I'm not going to lose my $10, and make the bet. I'd bet $10 on that.
Stuff, but that contradicts what they say about refraction and light, and then you got turbidity. You've got all this stuff you got to add. You have to make some.
Oh yeah, and Ardawan slipped in.
Oh, there he is. How are you, Ardawan?
I'm doing pretty good. I just woke up from. I just woke up.
Oh, so it's 3 p.m.
No, it's almost 1 p.m.
Oh. Yeah, crack of noon. It's like he's unemployed, isn't it?
I
should point out.
I have a week off and I'm lazy. How you all doing?
Good, mate. How are you?
Enjoyed your live stream
I'm
the other day. Was that yesterday?
Yeah, the day before. But yeah, thanks. That was a lot of fun. Yeah.
Probably yesterday my time, yeah.
Yeah, we had some nice talks, and yeah, that was actually the point of it. Just talking and hanging out.
Killed a few boars and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And for people who are watching, Arduin is also on the NASA Black Site Area 69 live stream, which I think I've still got in my clipboard, so I'll post that. No, that's not it. So
You
I
need to
posted
send
it
some
earlier.
of your subs over so we can start paying more subs that we already pay for. No, we don't pay for subs.
That's what plugging the NASA Black Site on my live stream is all about.
Excellent.
And I'm on it. I'm on it as well as Cypher Zero. So bits of what you're hearing here will also be on that. So if you like this,
I mean, NASA Black Site Area 69 is responsible for hiding the truth of flat Earth from all the you normies out there, you flat earthers that know the truth. We're the ones that are hiding that truth. We run FTFE. He's actually a clone. Several clones. Team Skeptic. All of them. All of them are clones. They all have to be cloned. Like, we have to destroy them every time they deal with a flat earther because their brains just explode. It's a complicated thing. Run by genetically modified, cybernetically enhanced squirrels.
That was cool.
And double link. Love it.
But yeah, this week we're talking about the Mandela effect.
What? Yes. The Berenstain
not
Bears.
the Mandela one.
Yeah. Wait.
Well,
what?
yeah. Well, sorry. Just
sure about
a
that?
different pronunciation. Yes.
I thought it was the Gandhi effect. No?
Well, but it was, but then the settings on Gandhi were glitched out. Instead of being very peaceful, he became super aggressive.
Oh,
he
that's right. It's Civilization 5, yeah.
Yeah, and he tried to nuke the world, and so we had to fire him and make it the Mandela effect.
All right, well, we'll go back to this stupid, because this is pretty stupid, and I think it's getting to the end of it. We're at 35 minutes of it now.
Well, yeah, we only want to do the first half hour because I didn't watch past that because it just got too boring.
We're nearly there now.
So many assumptions to believe this. I'm not willing to make any more assumptions, especially based on what the powers that be tell us. I'm just not. They lost my trust a long time ago. Show me the fucking evidence. Excuse my language.
Right. Basically, that's their appeal. It's basically a fallacy of appealing to the numbers are too big. The evidence that they need to prove the thing is so big or so hard or so expensive or too much. They can't do that for us, so we have to just accept it, and that's it. Well, that's not a real argument.
Scale negator. They'll tell you the only time we can test the ball, the only time water will stick to a ball for a test is when the ball is too big to test. So you're like, so I've said this before, and they'll say yes. So I'm like, so the only test that proves water sticks to a ball is when the ball's too big to do the test. And they're like, yeah. So
Do you not realize how broken that request is?
Well, it's your belief. Do you not realize that if you believe that, your beliefs are then broken and cannot be falsified and created a religion within itself?
What you're asking for is me to show you a planet with water sticking to it. That's ridiculous.
Well, yeah, it is. You're right. Your beliefs are ridiculous. I'm glad you agree.
That's not what I said.
Well, why don't you just show an orbit then? Show an orbit.
They
argue like ridiculous to show you a planet with water sticking to it. I agree. You will never see a planet with water sticking to it because it's ridiculous. We both think of the same thing. You just believe it's ridiculous for another reason.
I can give you any number of strengths of magnets. Show me orbits. It's non-demonstratable. Okay. Besides that, they told us that in middle school we could drop something the same size. Okay, we could drop it. So I take a ping pong ball and a golf ball and I drop it and I do this report and I get an A+. But they fell at the same rate. But then I go up on the roof and drop them. Okay, they have the same wind resistance and they're the same size. But I go up a little bit higher and drop it, and the golf ball falls faster. Okay, and they got the same wind resistance, everything. And the same thing with plants breathing breathing carbon dioxide and letting out oxygen. They proved that wrong. All these things they're teaching us are not demonstratable. You look into it, scratch the surface, and it's all BS. The things we're taught are not all accurate.
Right the hand trigger.
My favorite.
He was talking about the rock falling, and then Nappy was bringing up scholars. So. I think Red Hand's point was like, the first, in order for the scholar to study how the rock falls, you got to pick it up and drop it. And my mind went over to Newton, with the apple banging him on the head. And I was thinking like, wow, so Newton's a scholar. He witnessed something falling, and boom, we have the reason for falling. And then I was like, well, weren't there scholars and all these geniuses, like Greek, Italian, Rome, English, all over the world before Newton, right? There were, right? All these intellectual studies. But apparently nothing fell. Nothing fell before Newton, right? So they never ever thought about it, right? They never thought about it because nothing fell before Newton. The very first thing we ever had falling was the apple on fucking dumbass's head, and here we are today, right?
Well, and how do you get anywhere productive if you?
Wow, that is just wow. Wow, I think my head just exploded.
Yeah, we might leave the Ranty video there because it's just getting too stupid.
Yeah, it really is.
They're talking about things they have no idea, and they clearly have no idea, but they think they do.
Well,
I think about the gravity thing. I think the word gravity came from a word from Greek, if I recall.
Gravitas, yes.
Yeah, gravitas, correct.
And earlier I heard Brandon say something. Oh, we asked for the evidence and it's never provided. It's been provided so many thousands of times now. It's gotten beyond a joke, and then some. Like they ask for a particular piece of evidence. They're given that, and then they're given more on top of that to actually confirm the evidence that's been provided. Like, they get supporting evidence for the evidence, and they still refuse to acknowledge it exists.
Yeah, nothing we could do would be enough.
Gravitas is Latin, according to Ugly German Truths.
It is, and also the medical term for a pregnancy is gravida, or gravida, and that's partially where the word comes from, meaning it's obviously the baby's weighing you down. So.
Yep. Interesting. So yeah, well that's right the hand in a nutshell. Just a contrarian mongoloid who likes to argue.
Was just picking a fight, wasn't he?
Yep.
He was arguing with his own kind, you might say.
Funnily enough, he was picking another fight with a girl.
Yeah, he's got a problem with women, doesn't he?
Oh, he's a misogynistic POS.
Well, yeah, for many, that's just one reason he's that, but yeah.
Oh yeah, I was acronyming. Yeah, the thing that I told you I wouldn't do when we started.
Yes.
Having to bite my tongue so much here.
Well, the S word's all right, I guess. It's when we get the F or the C word or the R word or whatever.
No, if I can't say one, then I'm not saying any of it.
All right, fair enough. Keep you in practice. Yep. So I thought before we do shilling of all our channels, let's. Seeing you come for the Corgis at Corgi Dome, let's have a look at the Corgis. I've sent you a link in Discord, Cypher.
Yep.
You might not have seen it yet.
Nope, I didn't. I didn't have that open. Give me 1 second. Aha. Click that, pause it, and then pull it over. Yeah.
I mean, because Corgis is what I'm all about. These are my Corgis, actually. My two Corgis, Artie and Barrera.
Make sure I've got that up.
Yes, I should have turned the phone on the side, I know, but...
You film like a flurf.
Yes. But this is pretty much the first time I filmed anything for YouTube, so...
Are you CC's brother?
Well, no. CC would have filmed this horizontal, but he would have still have his screen locked
on the side,
on vertical. So, yeah, are you still doing this stupid stuff? That still baffles me. Like, oh man.
What I love about this wrestling that the dogs do is they have these big smiles on their face while they do it. So it looks like they're being angry at each other, but it's exactly the opposite. They're just being puppies.
Oh, yeah.
See, my backyard looks a lot tidier than it does now.
You can see that from their body language as well.
Yeah. They just got to be puppies. That's all they have to be. Oh, so hope everyone loves... Oh, yes, we've got a few comments in the positive towards the puppies. So that's good.
You know what? I don't think anyone could hear us commenting over that then.
Oh, okay. What a waste
Whoops,
of time.
I'll have to fix that. Sorry, it was I rather quickly threw this thing together in OBS because I couldn't get Streamlabs OBS to work with it.
No,
I
that's
had to
all right.
sort
Just
something
wanted to
else
throw them
out.
some puppies. Because it's the Corgi Bowl, so we want to see some Corgis, some real Corgis. My Corgis. That was Artie and Brera, for those who didn't hear it earlier.
Yeah, they're so cute.
Yeah. They're out the front right now having a snooze on their couch.
Of course, they have their own couch, yep.
Yeah, normally they bark their heads off when someone walks past. So it's been quiet tonight. Maybe no one's because people walk their dogs and they walk past and that's what they bark at. So anyway, so we might move on to shilling channels. Seeing we've been on here for 2 hours now. So we might start with Cypher, and you can shill NASA Black Site.
Yeah, the Black Site, obviously. It's we hang out there every week and do a couple of shows, one for the US people and one for the Aussies later on during the day. Only because we've got an audience of at least 30 plus people, but we could use some of Hugh's, as I said. Like, share, and subscribe, because we're actually. We've been improving our stuff lately. We've launched the Nodell Awards that we're going to be holding on the 6th of December. We're doing another nomination video section this week. This one will be for the Anthony Riley Worst Experiment Award. Egg is spelled E-G-G, experiment.
Yeah, you said that improving things on the Black Site. I noticed it improved dramatically once I joined.
Well,
I mean, I brought a whole lot of modesty to it. So.
Well, that's part of the problem, I think.
So everyone subscribe to NASA Black Site Area 69. You can hear me and Cypher and Arduin and others on that live stream in Australia at least. Well, Australia/Europe at 8 p.m. Eastern Australian Standard Time, which is... Sorry, no, it's 7 p.m. Eastern Australian Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Saving Time. And that's 10 a.m. UTC?
Yes, I think.
Yeah. Something like that. Maybe Arduin can tell me. What time is the live stream start?
No, question of midday.
It's 11 a.m. Amsterdam time.
Oh, there you go.
Okay. So 10 a.m. British. Yeah, that'd be UTC, 10 a.m. UTC.
Yep. And the
US
show is it's 11 a.m. for us, but in the States it's about 9:30 at night for them. We're actually moving. We've changed the time. We've moved it back a couple of hours to 7:30. So yeah, it starts earlier now.
That's for the US show. Because
The
there's two
US
shows,
one, yep.
folks, just
Yep.
in case you got confused.
You should. Yeah.
Arduin,
that's me. Thanks for that.
Arduin, do you want to shill your channel?
I decided to do some live streams every now and then on my channel until I pick back up my reaction series again. I usually do normally I do reaction videos on anime, mostly on One Piece. But lately I've just not been feeling up to doing reaction videos, so I'm trying to do some live streams, and the goal is mostly to just hang out and talk. So check out my channel. I'll link it in the chat, and come and hang out on one of my live streams. I haven't really set a time yet, but maybe when I'm back at work, I'll set a time for it.
Awesome. And I've just noticed I've got 46 watching now and 57 likes. So thank you for liking it. If you're watching and you haven't liked yet, can you please click that button? That'd be great. That helps me out a lot. Arctic Reflections, thanks for your video earlier tonight. You got anything coming up tomorrow?
No Hugh Jarsz video this time, but I'm working on 2 videos. So I don't know what I will release tomorrow.
Okay. You tend to release something every... Yes, well, obviously. You tend to release something every day, though, don't you?
Yeah, I have some in stock, so I don't work with videos every day.
Yeah. I'll just put a link to your channel in the chat. And there we go. So, yeah, everyone go to subscribe to, well, not only NASA Black Site and Arduin, go to Arctic Reflections as well. You saw how good his videos are. Certainly much better than mine. So, yeah, definitely go subscribe to him and watch his videos when they come out. And that leaves Tom from My Mum Bakes Cakes.
G'day, people. Yes, I do have some content. They're very, very short videos. I don't do a lot of content because flurfs are just goddamn idiots. But I do comment on a lot of people's videos, so you'll see me around and commenting.
Okay, cool.
And thanks for having me for today. I really enjoyed it.
Yep, I'm glad you were here. might have you again another time. And I just noticed someone said, don't forget to leave a like on Arctic's channel. So that video we saw earlier, go to Arctic's channel and like it there. That gives him all the nice interactions that helps him get picked up in the algorithm as well. And unless I've missed someone, and it doesn't look like I have, that's pretty much it. I'm not sure. Anyone else got anything to say?
Well, this has been a resounding success for your first stream. I would think, Hugh, this has been good.
Yeah, thank you very much for everyone who's watched and liked and everything like that. Oh, we're up to 62 likes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yep. No audio issues either. One of the
really good show.
One of the worst things that happened when we started doing all of our stuff was audio issues up the wazoo. So I'm happy that this one went off without an audio hitch at all.
What was that?
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you brought that experience.
You mean like us being muted while you play a video?
Well, yes, I didn't add the source for that, but there was a reason for that. I'll explain it later.
Oh no! I you don't even have to explain it. I know exactly what you did.
Hello, guess who's just joined the chat?
Oh, Gary.
Yes.
Gary!
Gary's
here! He ended up being summoned.
Gary.
Just let him display how stupid he is.
Ships or buildings don't disappear bottom first because of obstruction. They become unresolvable bottom first because of angular compression and Rayleigh criterion effects. Wrong.
He doesn't know what those words mean.
Now, Gary, do you understand what those words actually mean, just like you said?
He doesn't. Oh my God,
Gary, do you even know?
Mathematical?
Mathematical.
Who's
Oh
on meth, Gary?
man,
You or me?
Godverdomme. Jezus
Oh, Round Earth
Christus.
Observer's here. Hi. I've done a bit of a voiceover for him. He's a good channel to go and have a look at too. You might have him on a future live stream. So, folks, the idea is to do these live streams once a week, although I'm not sure how easily we'll do that, especially as things change with the pandemic and things like that. Thank you very much, Cypher Zero, for all the work you've done on this.
No problem, mate.
We'll see if we can do another one next week.
Yeah, well, I'll spend the
we'll see
next
how it
week
goes.
improving and fixing some more stuff up and adding, because I can actually mute audio sources in the OBS thing. So I learned something, there's several different systems that need mastering with these things. But yeah, no, it's been fun.
Yeah, and Arwen, I saw you picked up a new subscriber there. And hopefully
Thank you very much.
And hopefully Arctic and Tom have as well. That'd be great.
Yeah, I'll definitely do a live stream. Not tonight. Tonight is D&D night for me.
Oh, the black site's back to 543. We've been there. Awesome. We've been hovering between 539 and 550 for like a month. I need to fix this.
What are you up to, Arctic? How many subscribers?
956.
Awesome.
Oh, so you're only 44 off 1,000.
Yeah, he's so close.
Yep.
Well, I won't. We'll do some more pimping, but I'm not going to send socks your way because socks are cheating. Yeah, go and subscribe. We need 44 more. 10 more, and it'll be 33. 10 or 11? 11. 11, and you'll have 33 left. Well, 11
44 watching now, although I suspect most of those are already subscribed because everyone knows how awesome Arctic is.
And then if 11 people subscribe, then he'll only have 33. Illuminati confirmed.
I only trust the Sleeping Warrior regarding accounting.
Oh, that's a mistake.
It is?
Yes. Yes, Sleeping Warrior doesn't know anything except, what he does know what an egg is. That's the one thing I'll give him.
Yes, he got that correct, didn't he? It was quite a an achievement for him.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I think that's about as far as we can go. So thank you very much for tuning in, and we'll do this again next Thursday night. And I'm not sure what we'll talk about yet, but we'll see what happens during the next week. And I'm sure something interesting is going to happen, like it happened this week.
And this one is just for Gary from Golem.
Wrong. You're wrong.
Gary should just
Thanks,
take those as
Colin.
given. Yeah, Colin's awesome too, if you want to subscribe to him.
Yes, do subscribe to Colin.
Yeah, so we'll see you round like a whistle and hit the
Indeed.
button, Cypher.
So there's nothing left to do but cue the Corgi.
You're despicable.
Hugh Jarsz says, I love Hugh Jarsz and I cannot lie.